For our next speaker, so we start with the academic speaker. To facilitate that, I welcome Brian from the Monash Political Awareness Club. Please welcome.
Hello everyone. Thank you for coming, and I would like to thank Dr. Naziro for actually allowing us Monash Political Awareness Club to be here to be part of this event and actually work on, I guess, being a part of the collaborator for this. And I think it's important that we as a club we stand for political awareness. And for this geopolitical security forum, we talked about not just about data as our keynote speakers, Dr. Trisha and Dr. Asmi mentioned about democracy, data, policies, and regulations needed. And I think we are advocating for not just the youth, but overall the entire population regarding policies and political awareness. So just an insight, I'd like to thank both of them for sharing their insights. And we're going to move on to our first academic speaker for the day, Professor Emma. She's an associate professor at Monash University in the media and communication side. She's from School of Arts and Social Science. Her research work lies in the ethnographic in nature and attends to the interaction of material and social worlds through a focus on the everyday uses of new media technologies. Today, she'll be sharing with the topic of WhatsApp business, a simple chat app that's become a multi-sided market. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Emma to the stage.
Thanks, Brian, for the introduction. I'd like to thank the School of Business for this amazing forum, especially Naz for the work you put in for this. Yeah, it's really great. And I'd also like to just send a message of as much support as it's possible to give to the Political Awareness Club. It's just fantastic to see this club, that there hasn't been anything like it before. And it's an amazing development. And I think we're just so glad that you guys have done this. And yeah, anything we can do to help, please just yell out. My name's Emma Baulch. I've got this admin job looking after research at SASS, and I'm also the director of a yet-to-be-launched research centre called the Southeast Asia Research Centre for Digital Tech and Society, which is based at the School of Arts and Social Sciences. And we'll be looking particularly at this question of regulation. Yes, we are looking to the GDPR as one example of where, efforts to regulate have been successful, but there are also other examples from India and Brazil that I think are instructive. We're really interested in doing impactful research, or what they call mission-oriented research, to get conversations and also, organised action around the great need for regulation, particularly in the ASEAN region. Without further ado, I'll get to my paper, which is about WhatsApp. Hopefully it will only take 20 minutes. In October in 2021, I'm not sure if anyone remembers this, but people around the world discovered that they couldn't access Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And all of these three platforms, all of them are owned by Meta, as you probably know, seem to be completely wiped from the internet. So for many people who use these platforms as their main connections to friends, family, news, and businesses around the world, this amounted to basically a social blackout, and some of you might have experienced this. Users looked to Twitter to find out what had happened, as reported in the media and by Twitter's official accounts, who cheekily tweeted, "Hello, literally everybody." So Meta, which is formerly Facebook, were forced to explain the cause of the outage via their official outlets on Twitter and reassure users that they were working on the problem. Rivals took the opportunity to respond with humour. In a reply to a tweet from the WhatsApp official Twitter account, one user mentioned Telegram and asked suggestively if the Russian-owned app was single. To which Telegram replied, "Come over, the servers are up and my parents aren't home." Yes. So how do I slide through? Yeah. So in many countries, WhatsApp has risen to become more than a one-to-one communication app or a privacy-focused alternative to the other social media platforms. With its low data use and generous data plans, private and public group chats, media sharing and digital payment and business functions, it's been referred to as an essential communication utility. So, like water, like telephones used to be, like the post, whose ubiquity and embeddedness in the daily life of users becomes especially apparent when it breaks down, right? It's not until it breaks down that you realise how important it is. The outage showed how WhatsApp has become so integral to many people's daily rhythms and interactions that losing access to it feels like being locked out of social life. And I was just thinking about what Tricia was saying before about competition. I think this really points to some of the problems of competition as a solution, because these tech companies are really relying on a thing called network effects in order to grow, right? And that means that they're trying to make themselves indispensable, right? So if you leave that app, you really feel it. It's very, very inconvenient, right? So here we see like a meme from Brazil in which someone's having a heart attack because they haven't had access to WhatsApp. And the caption says, "Is this real? 48 hours without WhatsApp?" And he's really has to be comforted by his friends and relatives. So we know that WhatsApp is...
So I hope you were able to look at that visualization.
What's that?
And this slide shows a timeline of the...
That's something that was from my lecture. So I can't show that slide, but what it is basically a timeline of messaging apps and when they were established. So we know WhatsApp has evolved to become incredibly important to people's social lives across the globe. And this paper will focus on how Meta has leveraged these, what I call network effects, which describes the way a service grows in value exponentially as new end users join. Network effects lay at the foundation of Meta's efforts to develop WhatsApp technically and economically to maximise its capacity to support Meta's core advertising business. High switching costs render the platform valuable because they increase user dependence on the platforms, making it an attractive prospect for business users wanting to grow their client base. In this paper, I'll trace these developments and argue that the evolution of WhatsApp's business features can be seen as problematic for democracy, as it represents an instance of the large-scale corporate transformation of a realm of public discourse, or the so-called town square. I don't know if Malaysians are familiar with that metaphor. The town square is somewhere where we gather to deliberate and discuss among ourselves to form public opinion. Into a realm that's organised around and oriented to the exchange for profit, or the marketplace. So like I was saying before, increasingly we're just coming together in order to deliberate in the marketplace. There's no longer any town square, okay? And that has very serious implications for how we imagine ourselves as citizens within a democracy, because obviously you're going to have more rights if you have more consuming power, right? And that undermines the very fundamental nature and the very fundamental principles of democracy. So the corporate takeover of all corners of the internet leaves us with little room to imagine ourselves as anything other than consumers. Evidence from India and Brazil, where WhatsApp business features have been rolled out and tested, show how Meta's strategy for monetising the app risks turning it into a service that's a far cry from its tagline, secure, reliable, and simple. Increasingly, users come to see WhatsApp as spammy, messy, and unreliable. So this is about how WhatsApp began and some of the sort of principles that were at the basis of its founding. It was founded in 2009 by two former Yahoo employees. They're called Brian Acton and Jan Kum. And its popularity grew very quickly in non-English speaking countries like Latin America, such as in Latin America, India, Southeast Asia, and Europe. Southeast Asia and Europe and Latin America, not countries. I realise that. So in many of these places, WhatsApp became popular because of its low data usage and low cost relative to standard phone calls. In addition, smartphone usage in these markets had just begun to take off, so it kind of rode the smartphone revolution. And WhatsApp's simple design further contributed to its wide appeal, with users only requiring a mobile phone number to register. So WhatsApp was one of many messaging apps, as you can see from this slide, which I won't leave for very long because it has a recording attached to it, it turns out, including Snapchat, Messenger, Telegram, Signal, and Instagram Messenger, as well as WeChat, KakaoTalk, and Discord. They were all established around the 2010s. And it can be associated with, like the emergence of messaging apps can be associated with, with the appification of culture associated with both the Android and iOS app stores. Right? So prior to this time, mobile software applications or apps lived on users' mobile phones in the form of simple programs like Snake or Tetris. Does anyone remember Snake? It wasn't until the launch of iOS and later Google Play and so on that mobile apps came to rival web-based applications and crystallize a certain definition of apps that's come to shape of how we think of the relationship between software and ourselves. So we often think of apps when we think of software. Oh, maybe it's that slide, sorry. So by December 2009, WhatsApp had attracted about 250,000 followers, so it became popular quite quickly. And by 2014, it had 200 million followers. And Facebook acquired, what was then Facebook, acquired WhatsApp in 2014 for $19 billion, which was more than 12 times higher than WhatsApp valuation for the previous year. Since that time, speculation has obviously been rife about how Meta, what is now Meta, is going to monetize WhatsApp. So the early promise of providing a secure, ad-free way to communicate with family, friends, and close acquaintances remained a core promise of WhatsApp under Kum and Acton's stewardship. They continued to run WhatsApp even though Meta had bought it. So the principles that were underlying this vision were that it would not carry advertising, it would not store messages on its servers, and it would maintain a focus on delivering a gimmickless, reliable, friction-free user experience. To reassure users, Acton and Kum explained that after the sale, a key part of the deal was a promise from Mark Zuckerberg that WhatsApp would remain independent and that monetizing plans would be frozen for at least 5 years. But next, I'll look at how newly introduced features that are designed to enable monetization how they're in contradiction with the platform's public statements about safety and privacy. Okay, so this is from the WhatsApp website. The menu shows various options that are an indication of where the platform is heading. Under Features tab, WhatsApp displays what the platform has on offer. Message privately, stay connected, build community, express yourself, and WhatsApp Business. WhatsApp Business is the only option that, when clicked on, redirects people to a completely new website with its own menu showing different navigation paths, products, resources, blogs, developers, partners. So unlike WhatsApp's main website, Meta's logo is visible on the landing page of WhatsApp's business solutions. And this is kind of like an indication of how important WhatsApp business is to Meta's monetization strategy. And if you look on the WhatsApp blog and also the Meta blog, Mark Zuckerberg makes no secret of the fact that WhatsApp is absolutely at the center of the future of the company. Yeah. So looking at two features, WhatsApp Business App and the WhatsApp Business API, we can see how WhatsApp's evolution into a platform for businesses creates issues around data protection and privacy. The development of WhatsApp business products not only allows users' private data to be accessed by businesses, but by allowing advertising messages to target users' private WhatsApp accounts, it also alters how people have hitherto experienced the platform as simple, reliable, and ad-free. I don't know if anyone's noticed an increase in the number of spammy things that they get through their WhatsApp, but I have, and apparently it's a real problem in India. Yeah. So the WhatsApp Business App is tailored to facilitate communications between small business owners and their customers, display products, and facilitate shipping. It can be seen as akin to both a CRM or a customer relations management tool and a storefront. I have WhatsApp Business. It's kind of cool. You can create these catalogs and where goods are exhibited through catalogs and traded through the carts function. In some jurisdictions, you can even pay and buy for things on WhatsApp Business. Yeah, not in Malaysia yet. In India, you can. So WhatsApp Pay is a system that enables the transfer of funds between two accounts of participating banks via WhatsApp. So the business app is free to use, although WhatsApp has repeatedly said that in the future they intend to monetize the product by either charging businesses a fee for using the apps or by charging a fee for a premium version. While businesses have to download the business app to chat and sell products to people, customers communicate with businesses via the main mobile chat app, right? So we just use our normal WhatsApp account to chat with businesses. So for everyday users, interacting with businesses occurs within the boundaries of the same app interface that they use to communicate with families and friends. So you can see a pattern in which like WhatsApp has acquired these meanings, sometimes quite intricate and like varied meanings in different sort of cultural spaces, for people to interact with, loved ones, with friends, with families. It's indispensable, right? It's part of our close relationships that we have with people. It's integrated into the way that we use humour. It has very intricate social meanings. And this is what Meta is leveraging, this sort of indispensability, these like very important and intimate meanings that WhatsApp has in order to use it as a basis for selling things to us, right? You can't get away. You're trapped. Okay, so I'll move now to the Business API, which is the other principal feature of this monetization strategy. It was launched in 2018. The company refers to it as the business platform. And what platform means in this instance is, it's used in this computational sense, which means programmable infrastructure upon which other software can build and run. Right? So I think that means it's part of a stack. The IT people can correct me there. There are two kinds of platforms, and one of them is a stack, the other is intermediary. So the Business API has no front-end interface, but allows medium to large corporations to connect with WhatsApp users via WhatsApp Business solution providers, right? So ordinary people don't use it. It's for big businesses. These providers are professional customer messaging and workspace organizing software companies and WhatsApp recognizes as legitimate. In a sense, the Business API, which is hosted on Meta's data infrastructure, via the Meta for Developers platform can be considered as a bridge or a point of contact between large businesses and regular WhatsApp users. So it's connecting large businesses to the large user base of WhatsApp. So the problem with WhatsApp business products, both the business app and the business API, is that obviously they compromise user privacy. And while chats between customers and a business remain like peer-to-peer chats, encrypted, they may not be private, as some businesses employ third-party non-encrypted cloud services to manage and store their chats. WhatsApp shows users when businesses are using third-party software companies in an attempt for transparency. But the fact that WhatsApp chats are managed by third parties and stored outside WhatsApp creates a privacy loophole. And further, the technological evolution of WhatsApp business solutions in key markets indicate that Meta wants to do more than chat on WhatsApp. In Brazil, WhatsApp tested an in-app business directory feature called Business Search that allows users to find businesses from within the app instead of having to search for them on Google. And this suggests that for ordinary users, the WhatsApp core mobile chat app is evolving into something like a super app. Yeah, like the chat-based super apps of WeChat, Line, and KakaoTalk. So I will quickly conclude. With a comment about what all this means for the impossibility of privacy on the platform. WhatsApp insists that its products facilitate private communication and sell end-to-end encryption as a guarantee for their promise. But user privacy is hard to maintain within WhatsApp's current technological development. The progressive increasing group size, I didn't talk about that actually, with communities being the last iteration. So now you can create these, I think, forgotten how big they are. I think they're 1,000, up to 1,000 people. You can create very large groups on WhatsApp. And the business-oriented features are transforming WhatsApp's main mobile app into a space where communication among strangers is the norm, right? So it's becoming a large kind of public space which is commercially oriented, like a mall. This means that these stakeholders can chat with people beyond the main mobile app, for instance, through third-party software development companies or through WhatsApp's other web app instances, such as the desktop app and the business app. And interoperability also means that these stakeholders can easily store WhatsApp communications in other services that are often unencrypted. Okay, so one of the things that you'll see when you open your WhatsApp chat is this is end-to-end encrypted. It's a scam. That's the end of my talk. Thank you for bearing with me.
All right, perhaps we can get like 1 or 2 questions from the crowd. If anyone would like to raise their hands for any questions, my committee, Gelson, will pass you the microphone. If you have any questions, you may raise up your hand. Any? Is anyone? Yes. All right.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I was wondering if you could share a few thoughts on that weird notion of social media being the digital town square. I mean, somehow this notion has been around, and they have, well, invested a lot of money into making us believe that they are. But in many ways, I think it's so much more like a local, rather rundown mall, which is hyper-commercialized and actually guarded by an underpaid private security guard. So can you say anything on whether there are ways to change that perception among the broader public to see social media for what they are? And these are these hyper-commercialized spaces.
Yeah. I think one of the sort of great successes of these companies is how they've hijacked the public imagination about them. And, you know, that it's underhanded, I think. It's something that Mark Zuckerberg used, actually, the town square idea as a way of associating Facebook with democracy. Yeah. I mean, the town square being a key sort of element of, one of a key democratic institution, I guess, or a metaphor for one, being, a place where public discourse is created and produced. So how do we combat this sort of underhanded, casting? Coming back to education, we have to find ways to intervene in public discourse in ways that counter that. Yeah. And what does that mean? I guess it means identifying appropriate stakeholders. It means working with think tanks. It shouldn't just all be behind doors at the policy level. I think we need to create more conversation and debate at the public level. That's we need to do that. I don't know how, but it's something we're going to be thinking about.
Yep. All right. Is there any? We can take one last question before we move on to the next speaker. Perhaps if there's any raised hands, then I'll pass on to Gelson, who will be introducing our next speaker. So let's give a round of applause and thank you, Dr. Emma, for your time and for your wonderful insights.